All right, let's dive into Strapi today. It's been making waves, and I've been going through a bunch of articles and research, and yeah, things are going to get interesting.
I'm ready.
So Strapi, it's a headless CMS, which can be a bit confusing if you're not used to that kind of thing. It's like the difference between like a custom-built house versus a prefabricated one.
Yeah, exactly. Like think about WordPress, for example. You have the content management system and the front-end display, all tied together. But a headless CMS like Strapi, it's all about flexibility. It's just the back end serving up content via APIs that you can connect to any front end you want.
Also, it's like having the engine of a car without the body.
Yeah.
You can build a sports car, a truck, whatever you need around it.
That's a great way to put it. And that's where REST and GraphQL APIs come in. They give developers the keys to customize how they access and use the content that Strapi manages.
Okay, that makes sense. But there are tons of headless CMS options out there these days. What makes Strapi stand out from the crowd? I mean, from what I've been reading, it seems like the level of customization goes way beyond what I've seen before.
You're right. Customization is one of Strapi's superpowers. You're not stuck with a one-size-fits-all solution. There's this feature called custom fields that lets you create completely unique data structures for your content, like being able to add any kind of room you want to that house we were talking about.
Oh, and I imagine that level of customization is a godsend for developers, right?
Absolutely. It allows them to perfectly tailor Strapi to fit their project's specific needs. Imagine building a travel app where you need to manage everything, from destination details to user reviews, even complex booking information. Strapi's custom fields give you the power to structure that data exactly how you need it.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this could be a game changer. But beyond just the technical flexibility, I noticed that Strapi also puts a lot of emphasis on collaboration. Is that something they've really nailed?
They really have. One of the things that impressed me is how they've designed Strapi to be user-friendly for both developers and content creators. Often you have these platforms that are great for tech folks, but leave the marketing team or content writers struggling. Strapi bridges that gap.
So how does it actually make life easier for the non-coders, the folks who are crafting the content?
Well, for starters, Strapi has a really intuitive interface for managing content. It's clean and easy to navigate, even for someone who isn't super technical. But beyond that, they've built in features like role-based permissions, so you can control who has access to what, ensuring that content workflows are streamlined and secure.
That's a great point. It's not just about making things easy to use. It's also about having the control and security that professional teams need. And speaking of professional teams, I'm curious about the range of solutions that people are building with Strapi. I've seen mentions of everything from e-commerce sites to mobile apps. Is there a particular use case that really highlights Strapi's versatility?
There are so many great examples, but one that comes to mind is this case study I read about a major financial services company. They were struggling to manage content across multiple channels, website, mobile app, even internal communications. It was a mess.
That sounds like a classic content management nightmare. So many platforms, so much duplication of effort.
Exactly. But they implemented Strapi and were able to unify their entire content workflow. They could create content once and then publish it everywhere, ensuring consistency and saving a ton of time and effort.
Wow, that's a powerful example of how Strapi can solve real-world business challenges. I'm guessing that kind of flexibility is also why it's gaining traction with startups and individual developers as well.
Absolutely. It's not just for the big players. Strapi is being used to power everything from personal blogs to innovative new products. The beauty of it is that it can scale to fit your needs.
Okay, so we've got this powerful, flexible platform that caters to a wide range of users. But all of this technical wizardry requires a solid foundation of support and resources, right? I know I saw something about a developer community when I was researching Strapi.
You're right. Strapi has cultivated an incredibly vibrant developer community. It's one of the things that really sets them apart. They have an active forum where developers can connect, share solutions, and get help with any roadblocks they encounter.
I imagine that's invaluable for anyone who's new to Strapi.
Or trying to push the boundaries of what's possible.
It is. And they go beyond just the forum. They host regular events, workshops, and webinars to keep the community engaged and up-to-date on the latest Strapi developments.
It's amazing how much they invest in fostering that sense of community. It really shows that they're committed to the long-term success of their users. So we've talked about the customization, the collaborative features, and the incredible community support. But there's one piece of the puzzle we haven't touched on yet, Strapi Cloud. I'm curious to understand how that fits into the whole picture.
Strapi Cloud is their platform as a service offering. And it's a game changer for developers who want a simpler, more streamlined way to host their Strapi projects.
Oh, okay. So instead of setting up your own servers and managing all the infrastructure, you can just hand it over to Strapi and let them handle it.
Exactly. They take care of all the technical heavy lifting, so you can focus on building your application. It's like having a dedicated IT team at your disposal, but without the overhead. That sounds incredibly appealing, especially for smaller teams or individuals who don't have the resources to manage their own infrastructure.
It is. And they offer a range of plans to suit different needs and budgets. You can start small and scale up as your project grows.
I'll have to say, I'm really impressed with what I'm learning about Strapi so far. It seems like they've thought of everything. But before we dive deeper into the specifics of Strapi Cloud and explore some of the more advanced features, let's take a moment to hear from you, our listeners.
We'd love to know what's resonating with you so far. Are you already using Strapi in your projects? What are some of the challenges you faced with traditional CMS platforms that you think Strapi could solve?
And if you're just starting to explore Strapi, what are you most excited about? We're eager to hear your thoughts and questions. So drop us a comment below, and let's keep the conversation going.
And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into fascinating topics like this one.
We'll be right back to explore more about Strapi. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Strapi. Before we hear more from you, let's unpack some of the key aspects that make Strapi so unique.
You're right, we've just scratched the surface. One of the things that really caught my attention was Strapi's approach to content modeling. It seems like they found a sweet spot between flexibility and structure.
That's a great observation. A lot of headless CMS platforms can feel a bit too open-ended. It's like being handed a blank canvas and a set of paints. Great for experienced artists, but intimidating for beginners. Strapi provides a bit more guidance.
Oh, so it's like having a set of pre-drawn outlines that you can then color in and customize. That makes sense. It gives you a starting point, but still allows for a ton of creative freedom.
Precisely. They have this concept of collection types, which are essentially predefined data structures for common content types, like blog posts, products, or even user profiles. You can use these as a foundation and then add your own custom fields to tailor them to your exact needs.
And I noticed that they also have single types. For content, that's unique, like an About Us page or a homepage hero section. It seems like they've really thought through all the different ways people use content.
They have. And this attention to detail is evident throughout the platform. Take their media library, for example. It's not just a basic file storage system. You can categorize and tag your media, edit images directly within Strapi, and even optimize them for different devices.
Okay, so they're taking care of a lot of the headaches that content creators typically have to deal with. That's impressive. But let's go back to the developer experience for a minute. I know we touched on the community support, but what about the actual process of building applications with Strapi? Is it easy to get started?
It is surprisingly easy, even for developers who are new to headless CMS concepts. One of the things I really appreciate is their documentation. It's clear, comprehensive, and well-organized. You can find answers to almost any question you have.
That's so important. There's nothing more frustrating than hitting a roadblock and not being able to find the information you need.
I couldn't agree more. And Strapi goes beyond just providing static documentation. They have a ton of tutorials, videos, and even interactive demos that walk you through the entire process of building different types of applications.
So they're not just throwing you the keys and saying, good luck, figure it out. They're actually guiding you along the way. That's refreshing. And speaking of guidance, I know we were about to dive into Strapi Cloud. For anyone who's hesitant about managing their own infrastructure, this seems like a pretty compelling option.
It is. Strapi Cloud takes all the complexity out of hosting and managing your Strapi projects. You don't need to worry about servers, databases, or any of the technical nitty-gritty. They handle it all for you.
So it's like having your own personal Strapi concierge. They take care of everything behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And you can just focus on creating amazing content and applications.
Exactly. And the best part is it's incredibly easy to get started. You can deploy a new Strapi project to Strapi Cloud in just a few clicks. They even offer a free tier so you can try it out and see if it's right for you.
Okay, I'm sold. But let's get into some specifics. What kind of features does Strapi Cloud offer that you wouldn't get if you were self-hosting?
Well, for starters, you get automatic backups and security updates, so you can rest assured that your data is safe and secure. They also offer a global CDN to ensure fast loading times for your users, no matter where they are in the world.
That's huge. Performance is everything these days. And I imagine they have some pretty robust monitoring and scaling tools as well.
They do. You can track your application's performance in real time. and easily scale your resources up or down as needed. It's all managed through a simple, intuitive dashboard.
This is really making me rethink my whole approach to content management.
Mm.
Strapi seems to have covered all the bases, from developer flexibility to content creator ease of use. And now with Strapi Cloud, they've taken the hassle out of hosting as well.
I agree. It's a very compelling platform. And one of the things that really excites me is the potential for future innovation. Strapi is constantly evolving, adding new features and integrations based on community feedback.
Speaking of the community, we haven't talked much about the specific resources and initiatives that Strapi offers to its users. I know they have that active forum we mentioned earlier, but what else is out there?
Well, they have a fantastic blog where they share insights, tutorials, and case studies. It's a great way to stay up to date on the latest Strapi news and best practices. They also have a partner program for agencies and developers who want to build their businesses around Strapi.
But I saw something about a marketplace for plugins and themes. That's interesting.
Yes, the Strapi Market is a curated collection of plugins and themes that can extend the functionality of your Strapi projects. It's a great way to add features without having to build everything from scratch. You can find plugins for everything from e-commerce integration to SEO optimization.
Okay, so we've got this vibrant community, a constantly evolving platform, and a marketplace for plugins and themes. It sounds like Strapi's building a comprehensive ecosystem that goes way beyond just a content management system.
It really is, and I think that's one of the key reasons why Strapi is gaining so much traction. It's not just a tool, it's a movement.
And speaking of movements, we'd love to hear what's moving your on our listeners. What are your thoughts on Strapi so far? Are you as impressed as we are?
We want to hear your experiences, your questions, and even your challenges. Drop us a comment below and let's continue the conversation.
And before we move on to our final thoughts on Strapi, a quick reminder to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into topics that matter to you. We're always looking for new ideas, so let us know what you'd like us to explore next.
We'll be right back to wrap up our deep dive into Strapi. Stay tuned.
Okay, we're back. For the final part of our Strapi deep dive, we've covered a lot of ground: content modeling and customization, the community, and Strapi Cloud.
It's been really fascinating. And I think
Right.
what's become clear is that Strapi, it's not just another CMS, it's a whole different way of thinking about content management.
Yeah, I totally agree. It feels like they've really thought through the needs of both developers and content creators, and they've managed to create a platform that really empowers everybody involved.
Exactly. And that empowerment comes from the core principles of Strapi: flexibility, extensibility, and a commitment to open source. By giving developers the tools to customize and build whatever they need, Strapi opens up so many possibilities.
And it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the community, the support, the knowledge sharing, the innovation.
I couldn't agree more. It feels like Strapi is more than just a platform. It's a movement, a collective effort to make content management better for everyone.
So as we're wrapping up, what's your biggest takeaway from all this?
For me, it's the versatility. Like whether you're building a simple blog or a complex enterprise application, Strapi can adapt. And the fact that it's open source means you have complete control over your data.
That's a great point. And I think what excites me the most is, well, the potential. With such a strong foundation and such an engaged community, it's exciting to think about what people will build with Strapi in the future.
Absolutely.
Well, this brings us to the end of our deep dive into Strapi. Hope you enjoyed it.
And remember, this is just the beginning of your Strapi adventure. Go, explore, experiment, and see what you can create.
Now, before we go, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Strapi? What are you excited to build? Leave a comment below and let's keep talking.
And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're always looking for new topics, so let us know what you want us to explore next.
Thanks for joining us.